Aloha gang, Dr. Russ Rosen here. Welcome to the OHC System Community Masterclass. And I am going to make a comment to let me know if you are here live. So you can go ahead and comment. Let me know if you're here live. And also, if you have questions along the way, you can let me know. Wow, this moved. Okay, let's see if I can do that. Good, I can. Okay. So, Dr. Russ Rosen, my main thing that I do is help natural healthcare providers like you thrive in a care versus scare true optimal health model. We're here live every Tuesday, 3 Tuesdays a month at 1:30 Pacific time, which is California time. If you want to dive deeper into things, you let me know. We've got the club, which is at the moment $57 a month. It's going up in about a month. And we do 3 live discussion calls where we do Zoom. You get in there with me. We have a discussion on these subjects, but we just go a whole lot deeper. Okay, so the subject today is about how to run a successful business and how to get your team on board. Now that's how to get your team on board, even if you're the only one, because you wear different hats, right? You wear the front desk hat, you might do billing hat, you might do marketing hat, you do the doctor hat. Like, so it's your entire team, even if that's only you. Now, we're going to be breaking down one of the modules that we have in the Learning Center over the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. So we've got 6 weeks. We have today, we'll be talking about building a dream team and how to run the business. Then we'll be looking at how to hire and how to do bonuses. Do they actually work? And if so, how? Performance appraisals, training, how to train and do regular training, not kidding yourself that you didn't train them something once and that they have it forever, because it's not how it works. And then, of course, meetings. So those are things that we'll be diving into. For right now, I want to just give a quick overview of the concept of running a business. Jim Miller, down under, good to see you, buddy. Lucky for me to get to see your smiling face and mustachio. All right, so I want to give an overview right here. To get our team on board, there are 3 simple things that we need to do. Number 1, we need to make sure that they are philosophically on board. They get who you are, what you do, why you do what you do, why you don't do other things, what else you don't do, right? They really need to understand, and they need to be on board philosophically. And if they're not on board philosophically, I don't care how well they type, right? I don't care. It doesn't matter, because they can't sell something they don't own. And so we got to get them philosophically on board. Now, if you'll go back into the guides section, the first 3 master classes that we did were on this subject. Certainty, who are you? What do you do? Why do you do what you do? Why don't you do other things, et cetera, mindset. So the first 3 ones we did were on that subject. And it would be really worth getting your team to go through those with you and for you to get extremely clear and make sure that they're on board and they're excited and passionate about it. And if not, let them go. Let them go do something else in life that they'll love, right? But not this. Number 2, now I know that every time I bring this up, doctors go, her. You need to make sure that they actually want to grow the practice. I've been coaching since 2000, and my front desk gal was my wife. And when I was in chiropractic practicing, and now she's been my front desk person for the last 24 years. And it was very interesting the things I heard from her, from other staff members of mine, because they spoke with her and then she spoke with me, right? To staff, oftentimes growing the practice means what? It means more work. That's what it means to them. So do they actually want to grow the practice? And there are very specific things that we're going to be going over today to help you understand that and what to do about that. Because if they don't want to grow the practice, you may never know. But they will sabotage everything you do. They will drag their feet. They will keep the practice from ever growing. So step one, be clear about who we are, what we do, why we do what we do, etc. Make sure your team is on board. Step two is, do they actually want to grow the practice? And step three is, how do you actually set and achieve meaningful goals, meaningful objectives? Now, if you're interested, we're going to go into some of that, but then I have an entire course. It's a five-section course on how to actually set and achieve objectives and goals, and I'll give that to you. It's something I normally sell, but I'll give it to you. Just put goals, and I'll send you a link in it, and you can go right into our course and do that. Okay. So I want you to think about these next 4 weeks of what we're going to be doing, five classes of what we're going to be doing, as an operating system for your computer. So you can have all the best softwares and video games in the world, but if you don't have an operating system that works, these don't matter. It doesn't work. I want to install an operating system into your business. This is how we run the business, okay? So step one, we got to get the team on board, and then at the end, we're going to be talking a little bit about the business frame, which is the operating system that we need to install. Okay. Along those lines, the book, the 𝐬 Revisited, or the 𝐬, I think it's Revisited for chiropractors. I don't know if there are ones for acupuncturists and naturopaths, but if not, the one for chiropractors is really going to do you well. Also, same thing for osteopaths. But that's a tremendous book. I can't recommend it enough. To me, it's the Bible of small entrepreneurial businesses. The 𝐬 stands for the entrepreneurial myth, meaning just because you know how to make a really good pie doesn't mean you know how to run a successful pie shop. So many of us are technique freaks. We're great at what we do. We get great results. We're passionate. We love it. But we have no idea how to run a successful business. So that's a really good book. Now, I went through that book 3 times. Then I got the next book in that series, 𝐬 Mastery. I went through that 3 times, wrote up a whole bunch of stuff, went back and redid all of my modules that I'd had. So that was like a 400 or 500 hour process to redo that. And that was in 2010, I think, or so. And then in 2020, I did that again as I got more into neuroscience of communications. I redid all those. Okay, so the intent of getting your team, the intent of this is to get your team to grow the practice. It's that you cannot do it by yourself. And what I don't want is for you to be pushing them or carrying them on your shoulders. I want them carrying you on their shoulders, right? They do their job. You do what only doctor can do, okay? So I want to expose you to some concepts and principles behind getting your team to build your practice and to run the practice. And a team in my world is a group of people who work together as a team, who support each other to do their very best. It's a group of people who are well trained, highly motivated, and passionate about growing the practice. So I want them pushing you to grow the practice. Right? I love it when I have staff. I do a lot of one-on-one coaching, and I have the staff there a lot. And I love when we get to the place that the team is pushing the doctor, and they're saying, knock it off. Quit gabbing so much. Quit showing up late. Like, do your job, right? That's what I want to see. I want the team pushing you to grow your practice. So our goal is to help you grow your practice to serve more people, make more money, save more lives with less stress and more fun. Sounds counterintuitive, right? So the basic rule of thumb here is we're going to serve more people with less stress, and we're going to get as good or better results than before. Again, can't recommend enough the book, 𝐸-Myth by Michael Gerber Revisited, or the chiropractic one. And just a quick hit on that, one of the things he talks about is, oh God, what was the number on that? It was 75% of all businesses in the United States, 75% of all new entrepreneur businesses in the United States will go under in the first year, will be out of business in the first year. 85% of franchises will still be in business 5 years later. 75% gone in a year, 85% still here 5 years later. What does, your mom and pop burger joint versus McDonald's, what's the difference? What does McDonald's have that the burger joint doesn't have? Systems. That's what they have, right? Well, and of course with McDonald's, they have name recognition, etc. But it's the systems that allow them, to grow and expand the way we do. So we've got to have systems. So you follow these systems that we're going to be talking about, and that's in all areas of practice, but specifically we're going to be talking about team and business, and your practice will grow. You'll get amazing results. Okay, now, I have seen weak doctors and weak staff, and they suck. They don't do well. I've seen great doctors and weak staff, and they limp along. I've seen weak doctors, self-admittedly, and great staff, and they do really, really well. And I've seen great doctors and great staff, and they just thrive. That's what I want for you, is great doctor, great staff. Again, if you're a sole practitioner and you don't have staff, you count as staff when you're doing the staff components. You're running that front desk, you're setting up appointments, you're taking money, you're doing billing, you're doing marketing. Those are all different hats, right? So I want you or your team great in all of those areas. Okay, so headspace. Headspace versus procedure. I always talk about you're climbing a ladder. You're climbing a ladder. There's headspace and procedure. Headspace and procedure. If your headspace gets too far ahead of your procedures, you crash, and vice versa. Classic example. Doctors ask me all the time, how do I get referrals? I say, I want you to do these 3 things. You're going to get referrals. 5 doctors go and do it. 5 doctors go and do it. These 5 come back, got no referrals. These 5 came back, they got a ton of referrals. Well, the procedure was the same. It was the headspace that was different. These people believed I'm a doctor and I shouldn't have to ask for referrals. What are they going to think of me? Blah, blah, blah. That's the difference between headspace and belief systems versus procedures. Okay? So with your team, we've got to get inside of their head, make sure that they're philosophically on board. And step 2, do they want to grow the practice? Now, again, to them, more often than not, it just means more work. So they really don't want to grow the practice. And again, 12 ways from Sunday to dig their heels in the ground, and just nothing you try works. They're sabotaging it. So the first thing that we need to do, and I have this chart and I meant to print it out so you're going to just see my hands. We've got on the horizontal axis, and then on the vertical axis, we've got ease, tools, skill level, and time. And then we've got workload. So if I have more work to do than I have the ability to do it, I'm going to be stressed. If I have more time than I have, or I have more skills, or I have more ease than I have workload, I'm going to be bored. So I hardly have anything to do, right? So, I talk with doctors and I'll say, how many people a day do you see? And they'll say, whatever, I'm going to say 40. And they say, I see 40 a day. And I go, and are you bored, stressed, or in the zone? And they go, I'm stressed. And I go, what if you were seeing 4 a day? Would you be stressed if you were seeing 4 a day? And they go, well, no, I'd be bored. Okay, so there's bored, stressed, and in the zone. Oftentimes we'll talk with teams and they'll say, how many are you seeing? 40. Are you bored, stressed, or in the zone? No, I'm bored is stiff. What if you were seeing 50? I'd still be bored. What if you were seeing 400 a day? Would you be bored? Oh, no, I'd be overwhelmed. Well, at some point between 40 and 400, stress kicked in. And what we need to do is we need to reorganize and reduce the stress so we can grow. So there's a really easy, fun axiom, which is, make space and fill it. Reorganize, make space and fill it. Reorganize, make space and fill it. I talk about this Kaiser that I go to over here, and unfortunately, since I moved here, I've had surgeries and injuries and all kinds of things, and I've been there a bunch. And they amaze me. They're always on time. Their staff is so well trained. Like, it's just such a phenomenal thing, and they see several thousand people a day. It's crazy. Did they start like that? Not at all, right? They just have gotten bigger, made more space, gotten bigger, made more space. They have the systems to easily process that many people. So you need to start with your team and ask, are you bored, stressed, or in the zone? If they're in the zone, you're going to ask, and if we were to grow X amount, would you still be in the zone, or would you be stressed? If they're stressed, the first thing that we need to do is what? Reorganize and make space. You cannot sustain growth and be in stress simultaneously. You can't do it on a cellular level. You can't do it on a macro level. You can't do it in your practice. So to grow your practice, step one is make sure that we're all either bored or in the zone, that our new goal would keep us bored or in the zone. But if there is any stress, we're only as strong as our weakest link. Okay, if there's any stress, we're only as strong as our weakest link. You got 5 people and one of them is stressed out, you can't sustain growth. You can't. That's not how it works. So step one is you're going to ask everybody, bored, stressed, or in the zone, and then you're going to clarify, where are you right now? So here are some of the things that I ask my doctors to do. How many patient visits do you average per day right now? How many patient visits, oh yeah, so sorry about that. In our stat sheet, which if you want, just let me know, put in the comment below, I'll send you my stat sheet. You put in like, we're half day today, or we're full day today, or 3/4 day today, and how many people you saw, and it figures it out for you. It shows you per day how many you're seeing, and per month, and all kinds of great stuff. But you need to know how many people a day. You need to know what your patient visit average is, or your retention. Dan is messaging me. Didn't get it. Okay. So what is your retention? Okay, so your retention is that you take the number of patient visits over, say, a 3 or 6 month period of time, we'll call it 6 months, divide that by the number of new patients, and that'll give you your PVA, or your retention. For chiropractors, average is around 20 worldwide. If you're trying to help people get healthy and stay healthy and have the best life possible, then it needs to be a minimum of 60. I really want it over 100. I have lots of docs that are over 200. Right? So, I mean, there's no way you're helping people get healthy and seeing them 20 times. You'll get them out of pain, but you're not resolving their problems and keeping them healthy, right? And if you are, let me know. I'm really interested in how you do that. Okay, and then another metric I like to use is what's your close rate. So I saw 10 new patients, and I saw 10 reported findings, and no one signed up for care. All right, well, that's not a very good close rate. 5 people signed up for care. So if I had 2 people sign up for care and I doubled it, and now 4 people signed up for care, what would happen to my practice? I double my practice, right? So if I have more new patients, double my new patients, double your practice, double your sign up rate, double your practice, double your retention, double your practice, double all of them. We've gone above my mathematical capabilities right there. And then how much money are you collecting, right? So those are some nice stats to look at. Okay, again, if you want the stat sheets, just put stat sheets below and I'll get that to you. Okay, now the classic mistake that we do at this time is we set goals. We go, okay, we're here and we want to get to there. Don't do it. That's the classic mistake. Don't do that. The first thing we need to do is we need to clarify where each person is on this zone chart. Are you bored, stressed, or in the zone? If somebody's stressed, what do? Right, we reorganize. Right, we don't move into a growth phase. We're either in a reorganizational phase or a growth phase, and then eventually you're reorganizing and growing simultaneously. That's what's happening. But at the beginning, if somebody feels that they're stressed, again, by the end of the day, everything isn't done, right? I'm sweeping stuff under the carpet. I'm going home stressed. I'm having to stay too late, that kind of thing. They're not going to want to grow the practice, either consciously or subconsciously. So ask everybody, where are you on the zone chart? If anyone is in overwhelm, and again, could I be stressed out during our super peak demand time, but then I'm fine the rest of the time and I have plenty of time to get caught up? Sure, that's fine. But if they're feeling stressed out, you must reorganize, period. Like I know I've said that like 9 times already, but you really need to do it. So if at least one person is stressed, we need to reorganize, and we need to make sure that the entire team feels ready to grow. So now we can move into a growth phase. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to clarify a small goal. I have that entire course on goal setting, which I'll give to you if you want it. Just put in the comment section below, and it's really cool. I have a love-hate relationship with goals. I started setting goals when I was 8 years old, when I had my egg route, where I had my little red wagon and I delivered eggs in my neighborhood. And so I have a real love-hate relationship, and I've failed more than I've succeeded, to be honest. But I've done pretty well in life, and most of us have a love-hate relationship with goals, and this will help you get through that and figure out how to actually set them and achieve them. Okay, so we're going to look at our numbers and our goals, and we're going to figure out what's next. So again, it might be I want to see this many people. I want to collect this much money. Good. Okay, I'll get that there for you, buddy. It might be I want to bring in more money. It might be I want to bring in more new patients. You might have other types of goals, and I go through this in that program of, I want to get the place painted, or I want new carpet, or I need a new computer. Like there's all kinds of different versions, but we're just, to make it easy here, let's just say you wanted to increase the number of new patients or your close rate or your PVA. Okay, so now what I need to look at is the benefit to the team. So I'm going to review my mission statement. We'll be going over that actually in the club on Thursday. But I want to be clear about why. What's the why behind the how? Why do we actually want to do this? What would be the benefit? Are they getting bonused? In my world, if they're doing a better job and we're helping serve more people and make more money and have less stress, I think it's nice to have them bonus. Now, I know most of us have tried bonuses in the past and they haven't worked. In 2 or 3 weeks, we'll be going through my version of how to make it work, and they really can work. But again, there's a lot to it. It's a lot of people, money isn't the answer. So there's a lot to that, and we'll get to that. Okay. Then what we need to do is we need to, again, we're going to look at that goal and say, if we got there, if we got to 20 extra new patients this month, now again look at board stress during the zone. If that is going to lead to stress, you need to reorganize more. You need to make more space, right? 40 a day, we're not stressed. 4 a day, we're bored. 100 a day, we're stressed. All right, somewhere between here and here, we need to reorganize. So when you set that goal, make sure you go through that with the entire team. Okay, you would imagine in detail what it would be like to hit that first goal level. How many new patients, how many reported findings, how many re-evals, how many re-reports, how many patients during regular peak demand times, plus everything else you normally do. Like, can we do all of that? And if the answer is yes, now we go to the next step. If not, reorganize. Okay. Okay, here are some examples of reorganization. So what do I mean by that? Front desk. Let's assume the front desk is saying, I'm stressed out and I don't have a lot of time. Okay, well, imagine in Russ's land of make-believe that we got everybody to pre-schedule and prepay. And we had the software, so they walk in, they just swipe it. They don't even have to talk to anybody, right? And then it goes up and they get to go in the room. They go out, it's already paid for, they already scheduled for the next one, right? Would that make life easier? Yes. When I talk to most front desk people and I say, how many people can you see per hour comfortably if you're having to take money, write receipts, and reschedule? It's like 6, 4, 8, something like that. If everyone's pre-scheduled, prepaid, 30 an hour, 40 an hour, 50 an hour. Every once in a while, you need to talk to somebody about something and get money, right? So again, that would be a way. For the billing and collections people, it might be software. It might be that they're not getting information from somebody else, the front desk, on time. It might be they don't have quiet time to do the things that they need to do. Your tech CA helping out with pre-consults and report findings, or doing therapies and that kind of thing. It might be that the doctor's running behind, so now they're running behind. It might be that they're not fully trained. For the doctor, classically, I come in late. I come in stressed out. I talk too much. I run behind. I'm not doing regular meetings. Like, those are all kinds of things that you can start to think through. Again, in the goals program, I go into extreme detail about all this kind of stuff. Okay. Now, the other thing I want to look at is increasing capacity. How do we increase capacity? Well, there's a lot of different things that we can do. Start with the mindset of the doctor should do what only the doctor can do. Everything else we should have somebody else do. I was working with a lovely doctor who I just loved in New Zealand, and she was arguing her case that nobody else can do anything. You can't do a pre-consult. Nobody can help out with the giving the care plans and the recommendations and all this kind of stuff. I just love this gal. And the next day she emailed me and said, I was riding my bike. She was a serious cyclist, and she went over the handlebars and broke both wrists. Okay, I can't even wipe my butt, right? I can't adjust. I can't type. I mean, she couldn't do anything. And she was saying what a lesson it was of that other people could do things. We just need to set it up right and train them appropriately and monitor appropriately, which again, in the next several classes, we'll be going over how to do that. So what are things that we could do? We could add more staff. We could add an associate. I'm not suggesting you do. I'm just saying these are things you could do. You can decrease the time per patient on your regular patient visits, on your special times. You could increase your fees, which would thin the herd and make, like really increase your fees, which would thin the herd and make more space. You could look at all your practice systems, look at technology, different software. Some things can make it a lot easier for you. More space, more rooms, more equipment, better phone system. So often we'll have a room here with this kind of table and a room here that doesn't have that good table, and now everyone wants that table, right? So like, just lots of different versions. You can improve yourself, your energy, create if you have more energy, you can serve more people in less time and get better results. So all of the systems that we have in our learning center, the 5 systems, all of that can lead to reorganizing and making more space so we can serve more people, get better results in less time, and have more fun. Scheduling, all kinds of things you can do with scheduling. Improving the quality of your marketing and better new patients, getting people to the healthcare talk first. Now all of a sudden visit 1 and visit 2 are a fraction of the time. They already got it. They already understand. The hours that you work, the shifts that you work, the days that you work, all those kinds of things. Those are all things that you can start to play with. Okay. All right. So now you've thought about that. You've reorganized. And again, this is where people blow it, because we just set the goal. Right now, we're going to go for it. Again, what we need to do is we need to ask each person, what must they do to make this happen? We need to clarify with what each person is going to do. And if they don't know, then everybody else knows what that person needs to do to improve. Okay, so we have an entire process. Again, we'll be going through a whole lot more about this in the upcoming weeks, and there's a lot in that goals program. But we want to make sure that, let's say we were looking at increasing new patients. are there very specific things that a front desk person could do to get more internal referrals? Yes. Could they go out and get external referrals? Yes. Could they go out and set up lunch and learns or talks? Yes. Are there things the doctor could do? Yes. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at, here's the objective. And I like to, look at, these are the 10 objectives for the year. These are the 5 objectives for the quarter. Then this is the objective, one of the 5 objectives. Let's say it's new patients. Now under that, I want to put, what is each person going to do to make that happen? So then we have our regular meetings, and we have a brag session. We'll be talking more about that. And on our brag session, each person comes to the meeting saying, last week I said I would, and I did. Therefore, this week I will. Right? So you can see that every single week. I'm not micromanaging, right? But I'm not managing by abdication. I'm managing by objectives. That's how we're doing this. So we've got a mini meeting before the shift and a mini meeting after the shift. Again, we'll be talking more about this later. So we're clear about, here's what I'm going to get done this shift. Yes, I got it done. Once a week, here's what I said I would do. Oh, and I got it done. Once a quarter, new quarterly objectives. So you can see that there's a real system in place to make this happen. Okay, so if you are interested in the stat sheets, let me know. If you're interested in the gold program, let me know and I'll send that to you. Just put it in the comments below. In the club this week, we're going to be going into this, and then we're going to be diving deep into the business frame. The business frame is that software that I want to download into your business. It's not really a software, it's just a thought, but that's the metaphor I like to use. So we, start from the 10,000 foot view of your purpose and your mission and your, all that good stuff. And then we drop that down into values-based decision making. We drop that down to what are our strategies? How are we going to make this happen now that we know what we want? And then how are we going to market that? And then what are our objectives and how are we going to, dive into those and how are we going to make those happen? And then we need to make sure that if you look at a year, all you have to do is ask yourself, if I got this done today, which means I got this done this week, which means I got this done this quarter, which means I got this done next quarter and next quarter and next quarter, could I accomplish my yearly objectives? And the answer is yes. What I don't want to do is manage by abdication, which is I'll see you in 90 days, get this done. That never works. I don't want to micromanage. I do want to be clear about, here's what we're going to accomplish, right? We had 5 quarterly objectives. The first one was new patients. Who will do what by when and how to make that happen? Who will do what by when and how to make that happen? Then regular meetings takes 10 seconds. Here's what I'm going to get done this shift. That's it. On a mini meeting, on a regular meeting, very, very quick. Here's what I said I would do, and this is what I did. Now I'll do that, or I didn't get it done and I need help, right? So you can see that there really is a process to it. So I just want you to start to think that through, see if that makes sense for you. If you have questions, let me know. I see a couple of comments here from Wales, far out, man. Aloha. I watch all kinds of cool stuff about Prince of Wales and different things like that. So that's very cool. Jim, I think I need to review my stat sheet. Use Atlas and last time I checked, very consuming a good. Yeah, dude, use my stat sheet. It's killer. Create a copy presentation, please. Absolutely. That's it. Okay. So, gang, as always, listen, please, if you know people that you think could get value from this, let them know. You want to dive deeper, jump into the club. It's $57 a month right now. It's ridiculous. It is going to go up considerably, but right now that's what it is. And we'll meet on Thursday doing this same stuff, but going way deeper and me drawing information out of you and answering any and all of your questions. And again, if you want the stat sheet or the goals, you let me know. I'll send it to you. Dr. Jim, thank you for being here. Dr. 𝐲𝐻𝐿 Griffiths, Thank you for being here. As always, gang, much love and aloha. Bye, gang.